Welcome to day 4 in our journey down the road to the NBA trade deadline. If you're new to this series or my channel, this is a series of videos where the 2 weeks before the trade deadline, I make a video every day talking about a different trade that you may not be hearing on TV or major podcast stuff like that. Now, I said this is day 4. I've covered 3 days. You can find the little card up in the top right that will take you to the playlist of the other videos, which will also contain all of the videos from the series once they're all done. Now, all that being said, of course, be sure to like this video if you enjoy it. Let me know if this trade is crazy, and be sure to subscribe, ring that notification bell, so when tomorrow's video comes out, well, you'll be notified. Now, we're kind of doing one that is maybe a twist on an existing one. So it's no secret that the Lakers have been in the market to buy. This is kind of a pretty standard thing for the Lakers. Because they're right at the edge of the play-in, and there's a lot of potential that if the even if the Jazz fall, if the Rockets go on a heater, they'll pass them, the Warriors may make some changes, and who knows, maybe even the Grizzlies will make some kind of weird comeback this year. Now, part of the reason the Lakers are kind of in the predicament they're in now is they don't have a lot of assets, right? They shop around D'Angelo Russell a lot, but that seems like the only person we've consistently heard. And you're not really getting a big piece back for this salary. So what do the Lakers need? They, of course, have LeBron and AD, but outside of that, they've been kind of a little lackluster. Austin Reeves has, had some ups and downs this year. And they're not really super stacked on draft capital over the next few years. So they're in a tough spot. Well, if you're doing trades and trying to make some kind of salary matching work, you're also in a difficult spot. One of the names we've heard pretty consistently is either Zach LaVine from the Bulls, but you're kind of stacking 3 players to get there for one guy. And I don't really think that they're going to want to do that unless that guy is really someone they want. Or you go down to the Hawks, and Dejounte Murray has been on that list as well. A lot easier to match that. That's a lot closer to D'Angelo Russell, so you can kind of give player for player and maybe make some pick concessions if you need to. However, I think you could put a fun little twist on this in, is it realistic? Not really. I don't think realistically the Lakers would be able to pull this off, nor would the Hawks be into it. But let's just say hypothetically that the Hawks look back at their last few years and say, okay, we've tried the Trae Young experiment, and we've put some different pieces around him to see if maybe that helps. And of course, Dejounte Murray ended up not being as defensively focused as they kind of anticipated, but what if Trae Young is the problem, not the pieces around him? I mean, if you're the Hawks, you move Trae Young, that frees up a lot of cap space. Now, of course, your franchise guy is gone, but realistically, if Dejounte Murray was kind of your main guy, you're really not that far in terms of points. He gets more rebounds, and he's a lot less of an assist, but once again, without Trae Young, you're probably pretty comparable for half the price. Now, of course, crazy. There's no way the Hawks are going to give him up. But if you're the Lakers and you don't really have anything left to lose, just say, hey, we will throw the bank at you, right? We will send you D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, if you really want, maybe Austin Reeves, and then some picks if we really need it, because I'll be honest, the Hawks really aren't hurting for picks right now anyway. So yeah, that's kind of the idea, is you convince the Hawks, say, hey, listen, Trae Young, has not been your guy. You have tried it, you had one really good year, and you've not been able to replicate it. He's having one of his better years, and you're still at the very edge of the play-in. So let's make a trade. We'll give you D'Angelo Russell, so you'll have a point guard to replace him, but of course Dejounte Murray's probably going to take that role anyway. We'll give you Rui Hachimura, pretty much just a salary match, but that gives you another power forward there if you really want one. I know you're kind of in the Jalen Johnson market, who's a small forward, but the way they play him, he's kind of the 4-5 anyway. And we'll give you Gabe Vincent. That will match everything you need. And, you know, if that's not what you want, maybe you don't want Gabe Vincent, maybe we can talk about Austin Reeves, right? But realistically, this matches your salaries. If you throw picks in, sure. But if you're the Lakers, you have nothing to lose in just picking up the phone and saying, hey, we'll give you these 3 players, or, you know, like I said, switch Gabe Vincent for Austin Reeves, and, you know, we'll give you what picks we can. Obviously, they're a little limited to that. But they still have their 2025 first round, their 2026 first round. They don't have their 2027, so 26 and 28 are kind of out. But say do 25, 29, and then some seconds if you can. I don't know that that's really the best price for Trae Young, to be honest, but if you're the Hawks and you're kind of thinking about rebuilding, maybe trying to get some cap space, not the worst idea. And you still have quite a few reasonably large salaries that you could package into a trade for another star later down the line. But basically the idea is just don't flip Dejounte Murray and flip Trae Young. Because really, if you're the Hawks, you have the potential possibly to get to Trae Young levels. Maybe. Once again, Trae Young, phenomenal player. One of the best guards in the league. But you don't want to spend $40 million a year and you're really not thinking this is a guy we can build around? Put him with LeBron and AD. Because this puts the Lakers back in the conversation. Like, even if these guys don't play like super well together, they're all what you're probably not making the finals, but you can make a good playoff run for sure. But realistically, I think you would have a really solid, cohesive unit, right? Trae Young, one of the leaders in assists, great playmaker, great scorer. LeBron James the same way. So you have double that on the roster. You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis is your defensive backbone, basically. So you can really kind of hide Trae Young's lack of defensive acumen. And then you still have your Austin Reeves. So, you know, if LeBron retires, you still have Trae Young and Austin Reeves as kind of your center going forward. Obviously, you'll still have Anthony Davis, but, you know, he's 30 and a big man. Not saying he can't make it closer to 40, but big men typically don't go as far just because, you know, they're big men. They break down faster. But yeah, I mean, this, I think, sets the Lakers up for years to come and puts the Hawks back into a situation where they can make some calculated moves without having to blow up the entire roster to work with one guy. They still get to retain Jalen Johnson. Well, there he is. A guy they've already said is an untouchable. Now, they also said that about Trae Young, but like I said, if you throw, like I said, switch out here, we'll switch out Gabe Vincent. If just say the Hawks are really, because this gets you a little closer, I think. And then you throw picks. I think that works, right? Like, I mean, obviously, once again, as I said at the top, I don't think there's any way either team does this, to be 100% with you. But how crazy would this be if the Hawks came out and were like, hey, trade deadline, Trae Young, you're going to LA? Who I don't think he would be that upset, to be honest. Like, I know he likes the idea of having a team that's his, but we also saw after that, you know, deep run they had, I think it's back in 2021, he was not happy. Like, he was near devastated they didn't get to go all the way through and win a championship. This, I think, is an idea you can sell him. Say, hey, you want to go play with LeBron and AD? That puts you, like, right in the competition with the Clippers, right, basically. I mean, of course, you have the Timberwolves and the Thunder at the top, but, you know, this is playoff experience that neither of those teams really have, and the Clippers, you're kind of on par for. Of course, you're playing differently, obviously, but I think this would be so interesting to watch. Like I said, I don't think if both these teams say no, I don't even think the Lakers would bother calling. But man, that would be crazy, and I think that would be a lot easier to work with for the Hawks, to be honest. But let me know, in this weird hypothetical world that Trae Young gets flipped to the Lakers, what do you think? Would this be actually a contender in the West, or is this just trying to throw talent at a problem that talent doesn't fix? Anyway, thanks for sticking with me. I'll see you guys tomorrow.